And here's 7 super easy tricks you can inject to your own modern day trap bangers, taken from my project file Trident. And the first one is about timing your drums. You don't need to unleash it all right at the start of the drop. You can progressively stack it out and time it in ways that give certain parts of your drop more momentum. And I utilize this 3 different ways across the 3 different drops in this track. The first one being like a staggered release of the hecticness of the drums. So, fairly sparse, bit more, just unleashed. So we want to save the absolute potential of that energy until the hecticness comes in with the bass too. It's just like a constant switch off of like bass aggressiveness and drum aggressiveness too. And in the second drop, it's really like a fake out of sorts. You just strip away the drums until build the energy even more. Drums is such an important one when it comes to momentum and energy in your track. And if you can withhold and then push the drums at certain points in the track, it just takes it to a whole new level. So after we've been faking out for a while and the energy's hectic and you're like, oh, it's building, unleash all the drums. There's no sparse elements here. It's not just going back to the kick and clap kind of. The cymbals, hi-hats on top of this just add to that frantic energy. And for the third drop, it's removing drums at a specific point within that drop. Bring it back in. Constant little pieces of tension. So a quick sum up on that is think twice before you unleash absolutely everything you've got drum-wise at the start of the drop. Number 2, the perfect tangent, because we're still kind of talking about drums, and that is drums placement on top of bass placement. There's a reason I'll place these kicks and snares on these exact moments on the grid, because that's when the bass is doing something. It's kind of whenever the bass changes in pitch or whenever there's a new bass that starts to play. So it would sound quite different if I didn't kind of match the kicks up to these bass placements. Because when you add these impactful elements like drums, it just gives the bass overall more impact when it kicks in. Because you're really layering up this explosive energy of bass and drums at the same time. But of course, cater that to your own sections. If I did have a kick on every single bass placement, it'd just be a little bit too much. A little bit too much there. My kind of rule of thumb, if the bass placements are fairly spread out, then I'm just going to extra emphasize those basses with drum elements that line up on top of them. Tip number 3, very similar to number 1, where you withhold and push your drums at certain elements. Now I'm going to mention withholding and pushing your bass at certain elements. So you don't just have bass constantly just playing this. Remember to reserve that at a few moments, so when you come back and push it in your listener's face, it's got extra power. So I kind of utilize this towards the start of a new section. No bass here. Bring it back in. And cut it out here. Because when the audience expected it just creates a lot more tension by removing it. Easy. And I know this can come across as like, don't use all your bass at the same time and don't use all your drums at the same time. But that's not the intention. My intention is to like maybe think twice about strategically placing certain elements and not just having full bass, full drums in the audience's ears the entire time. An absolutely epic but stupidly easy trick that's getting utilized in modern trap all the time is just the 16th notes. They carry just so much power and movement, and it's just fast, impactful, intense. Skrillex utilizes this a bunch of times in his tracks and it sounds so good.
Run for them life. When I step
It's just so much energy. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it kind of just speaks for itself, but compare the energy in going from 8th notes to 16ths. Versus or even quarter notes, just all 3 are cool, but all 3 carry vastly different energies across this track now. Okay, that was unexpected but sick. 3 over 16 versus 16ths is just... That's an interesting combo that I've never played around with before. Random discovery while recording a tutorial. A cheeky little trick I like to do to give my sub basses or 808s even more punch is to add like a kicker layer. So this is the 808 by itself. It's already pretty punchy. It's got the pitch envelope here, so it's descending down to the correct pitch every single time. But it could just use a little bit extra boxy punch to it. So this random Foley sound right here, by just creating a new MIDI track and copying and pasting the MIDI from our sub bass, loading in a simpler, and then dragging and dropping some hard Foley. Extra bonus, if it's got some stereo width as well, that'll help add a little bit of extra thickness to the 808/sub. So before, and with this extra hard Foley simpler there. It's a bit subtle at the moment, so I'll really turn up the volume. Extra knock and extra punch now. We can clean this up as well with a high pass filter, just to make sure that Foley's not clashing with our sub bass's sub bass. So before, and now with it. Extra impact, love it. Stepping away from the drops and into like a build-up element, we're having a look at this bass MIDI right here. Very, very cheeky note here. Our scale's E minor. What the? No, it's not. Our scale is E minor, but we chuck a cheeky little tension note there by just going up one semitone. Because if you listen to this before, it doesn't really carry the same energy. We haven't got like a hectic chord progression going on at the moment. It's literally sub-bass atmosphere and a bit of sprinklage of drums. So by chucking this cheeky little tension note here, going one semitone up, it's very cheeky and it's very effective. Dun, 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 dun. It's the same kind of theory like Jaws. Dun, 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 dun. To give that extra tension. And that's perfect because the main intention of the build-up is to create so much tension that when the drop finally hits, it's just pleasing your ear holes. What? I'm definitely noticing in modern trap the stackage of just vocal elements. So here, there's something very familiar, pleasing, effective when you use vocal chops, vocal loops, etc, within your drops. And it just adds a whole bunch of more energy into your tracks. So I'll play you without it and I'll play you with it and you'll kind of notice the difference. Yeah, I mean it works, but the energy with these vocal little bits and pieces is just next level. I'll really turn it up for this play. There's definitely something about adding ya on every offbeat that just builds the energy. Yeah. That's been around for ages. And we come to the last tip/trick. I definitely picked this up while listening to Skrillex's album Quest for Fire, and there was barely any moments during these tracks where the drums just dropped out. There was always like a clap sample just going, or there's a little bit of hi-hats. Then of course, obviously the drums are kicking in like the main chorus, the verse, etc. But I definitely noticed throughout these tiny little breakdowns and builds, etc, just drums are constantly in there, as subtle or as hectic as they are. And I mean, that makes sense because drums carry a lot of movement and energy, and it kind of gets you to the next bit of the track. And then if you have drums constantly going, it kind of hooks you onto that movement. So I kind of applied that theory to this track, and the intro is pretty much the only place that's drumless in this track. Nothing happening here. Introduce the drums, hi-hats, claps, breakdown, clap element, of course, main drop, post drop, breakdown, more claps, fake out. Now the fake out, no drums, but that kind of goes back to point one, and it's just carrying the energy. You don't need energy of the drums when the bass is just building to something hectic. Bridge. And then go into a Moomba tune kind of thing. Build. More drums, final drop. And then outro. Sprinkle of drums to finish that off. Now this may sound like a massive contradiction to point one, where I said use your drums sparingly, and now I'm saying use your drums throughout most of the track. But point one was kind of comparing like drop drums versus this is just like outro, breakdown, build drum. I don't know if that was Skrillex's intention throughout making that album of just adding drums most of the time, or he's just addicted to drums and rhythm, but that's kind of Skrillex's thing really. He's like a rhythm drum design legend. But it's cool to kind of pull that drum thing from that album. And that, my friends, is that. Hopefully 7 brand new things you haven't thought of before and you're keen to throw into your own tracks. And if that's the case, successful mission on my behalf. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. If you want to get your hands on this project file Trident that I've been using throughout this entire video, link to that will be in the description. Just a heads up, it's not free, but if you want to pick that up, it supports me directly, which is awesome. Go make some trap bangers and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.